7th. It's 1:22, 1:23 right now in the afternoon. I just wanted to let you guys know I did another earthquake report just now. We had 36 earthquakes in the past 24 hours. They just had one, it's a 3-pointer in Utah, someplace in Utah today. It was probably just recently because it just changed from the 4.4 to the 3-pointer in Utah. You know, which I said, you know, I don't really focus too much on what's going on around the world. I'm sure there's probably a lot happening all around the world. It's just I always look at America, because whatever's going on around the world, America has just as much, if not more, than what's happening around the world. Even though we've seen more bigger ones around the world than what's been in America, but what's coming to America is probably going to be the biggest devastation of them all combined. Because people are going to be sitting back going, whoa, whoa, whoa. You know, that great nation, you know, it's going to come in 1 hour, it says in the Bible. So, I mean, there's going to be some things that we're going to be seeing that's going to be surprising us. I want to read here to you about, it's in Matthew's chapter 12, verse 46 through 50. It's Jesus' true family. Okay? While he yet talked to the people, behold, his mother and his brethren stood without, desiring to speak with him. Then one said unto him, Behold, thy mother and thy brethren stand without, desiring to speak with thee. But he answered and said unto him that told him, Who is my mother, and who are my brethren? And he stretched forth his hand towards his disciples and said, Behold, my mother and my brethren. For whoever shall do the will of my Father which is in heaven, the same is my brother and sister and mother. Okay? That's who our true family is. When we get into heaven, everybody's going to see that. It's going to be an awesome feeling. It's going to be an awesome feeling. You know, what we have coming up. St. Matthew's chapter 24, the signs of this age. See, a lot of people are having dreams of seeing earthquakes or not earthquakes, but asteroids coming to hit. There's been a lot of that, people talking about that lately. I've seen where it's going to be pretty wicked here. You know, there's going to be a lot of evil getting ready to happen. Chapter 24, And Jesus went out and departed from the disciples, and his disciples came to him to show him the buildings of the temple. And Jesus said unto them, See ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. And he sat upon the Mount of Olives. The disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall all these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming, and the end of the world? And Jesus answered and said unto him, Take heed that no man deceive you. Okay? For many shall come in my name. Now say, where it says, For many shall come in my name, doesn't mean they're going to say, I'm Jesus Christ. A lot of people are going to say different names, but they're going to act like they come in the name of Christ. You know, whatever they might call themselves. You see what I'm saying? So that's why it says, do not be deceived. We have to be very careful because there's a lot of people out there using a lot of different names, but like they're sounding like they're coming in the name of Christ. Do you understand what I'm saying about that? Because he said, so many will come in my name. You know, not saying that they're saying they're Jesus, because a lot of people think that when he says that that's what he means, that they'll come in saying that I am Jesus. But no, they're going to come, you know, like they're bearing good fruit to deceive people. You know, so you have to be very careful. That's why he said to watch. Always watch. Many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, and see that not trouble you. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there'll be famines, pestilence, and earthquakes in divers places, which we've seen all these things. You guys remember that disease in Africa that was killing people like a flu virus? People were just burying them on the spot everywhere. I mean, it was horrible. Then Obama was sending people over there, and then they were bringing the disease here to the U.S. I mean, everybody was going like, wow, is this guy nuts? Why would you bring that stuff here, knowing that people are dropping like flies over there? You guys remember all that? Everything's been coming to pass just like it says. Not only is it coming to pass, it's look at how much of it is coming to pass. I mean, we've got it it's like back to back. You know what I mean? Back to back. I've never seen so much activity as we've been seeing lately. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. Well, look at all the saints under the altar. People have been beheaded already. All these things have happened for the name of Christ. And then shall many be offended, and they shall betray one another. I've literally had people tell me, that I offended them because I spoke about Christ. People would be wearing a t-shirt like they were of the Lord, And then I started sharing with them, and then the wife would turn around and say, I'm offended by this. We're atheists. And I'm going, well, what was your husband wearing a t-shirt saying that? She goes, well, we volunteered to help somebody. Doesn't mean that we're Christians. I'm like, well, if you would have just said something to me earlier, I wouldn't even talk to you anymore about it. But instead they sat there listening and listening and listening and let me talk, only to turn around and say that they were offended. And then many have offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise, and shall deceive many. See what it is? We got a lot of people. I've been showing you those photos where they got those demonic spirits in them. It's bigger. The Lord wouldn't have showed me this stuff to let me know that these demonic spirits are literally hosting in people. Obama's got one in him. A lot of people say they think he's the Antichrist. Everything he's been saying, he's been mocking God and Most High, He even mocked what he said at the Temple Mount. Everything about him. It's the spirit that's in him. It's not him. That's why it says we have to forgive these other people. These people are like puppets. They have no control over their lives. They literally have no control over them. These people are being controlled. I spoke with one person, and they still had, some, and they literally, just by me asking them, and I said, how did this happen? What is coming over? Why can't you resist it? And this woman, she said, she goes, I can't explain it. She goes, it feels like as if I'm getting weaker and it's getting stronger, what was in her, And I'm like, oh, man. And then as people were coming in, man, it was like as if I faded away, like they didn't see me no more. And they were like in their own crowd. Like they loved one another, and I no longer even existed, and I was still in the same room, and that's when I've been seeing things happening in different ways than most people. That's why I'm out here where I'm at, that's why I'm living like I've been living. I believe the Lord secluded me for this. Not to mention, I think there's something coming up behind the year that photo was taken. In 5 more months, I'll be 57, and that photo was taken in 77, and that's going to make it to where, a lot of stuff's going to happen. All right, listen, and false prophets shall rise and deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. Okay, we've been going through this for quite a while, you guys. Remember, Jesus said to comfort one another too, didn't he? Okay, now when we're not getting comfort from people on here, please avoid them. Know that it's not the person, but what's in them. There's many people that are being hosted, okay? You got to be careful. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations. And then shall the end come. When ye therefore shall see abominations of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in a holy place, which that was Obama, and he did that several years ago. And then this is when people started getting their heads cut off. Then let him which is in Judea flee into the mountains. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything. Neither let him which is in the field return back to take clothes. And woe unto them that are with child and give suck in those days. But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day. You guys remember when people were running, literally running into the mountains? And they had it on camera, video, where people were running up there for shelter, and they were taking them food by helicopter, dropping them off food. For then shall great tribulation, such as not since the beginning of the world of this time, nor ever shall be. Sadly, a lot of people here have, they've let this time come upon them unaware. And the Lord said, don't let this time come upon you unaware. And the reason why it came upon them unaware is because they've been sitting here going to baseball games, going to football games, Christmas shopping. You know, their 401's growing. They made, you know, they're doing pretty good. When equity does abound. See, certain people are doing really good, you know. But a lot of us, you know, that, you know, labor hard for our income, you know what I mean? It's a different story. You know, and I cried out to the Lord one time. I said, Lord, I can't work like this. I said, because I would have to literally cheat in order to compete in this business, because that's what it's come down to. And today people believe the lies because the price is right. You know, and then 7 years would pass. People say, oh, the paint jobs don't even last anymore. You know, it's all garbage work. Well, that's because everybody's getting everything cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. But yet they're still making good money because they're not putting nothing in it. You know, and that's why I cried out to the Lord. I said, I can't do it, Lord. I'd be on jobs working and people would come up to me and say, what are you still here? What's taking you so long? I'd be looking at them. I'd be thinking, because it takes me half the time just to do the prep, just to get it ready to paint. You know, just to get it. I'd dig down to the foundation of a home. And that's where I began my work, at the foundation. That's where it was built at. And you got to check everything from the foundation below. I'd literally dig the dirt back, the earth away from the house. And then I would wash it, get it all cleaned off, get off all the dirt. Then I would seal everything. And then I would do my repairs, any patching, concrete work, anything. But I didn't just paint. I did stucco work, I did plaster work, drywall work. I was taught how to do the work properly. I was told if you're going to do some paint for a living, you should know how to do all the repairs. You should know how to fix things. And today, people just paint. They don't even prep right. They don't dig no dirt back. They don't do nothing. They just get in and out as fast as they can, as quick as they can. And if it looks good when they're done, they get paid. And they'll only give you a 12-month warranty. That's it. They don't even guarantee their paint that they're putting on. See, me, I'd use a 25-year paint. I'd give them a 25-year warranty, you know, or a 20-year warranty. And at that time, my sister said, how can you give a 20-year warranty? You know, that's impossible. Nobody does that. I said, well, if I'm using a 25-year paint, you know, and you read the directions, if you follow the directions, I use Sherwin-Williams Super Paint, and if there was any failure in the paint, they would pay me to redo it. you know, but you got to follow the directions. And nobody's doing that today. It was enough to put me out of business, you know, but not to mention everything happens for a reason. You know, my destiny was to go through just what I'm going through, to be doing what I'm doing, you know, and I'm not saying that I like it, but it is what it is, and this is what I, you know, was meant to be. You know, it's not a picnic, it's not, you know, I'm longing for the end of this. I'm longing for the Lord's return. You know, that's why everybody always sees me, you know, showing these photos with the angel blowing that trumpet. And look at the end of that trumpet. It's perfectly clear. The white horse. That's what Jesus is coming back on. The time's come. This is all real. It's very real. This is where we got to be ready. You know, have our robes washed by the blood of Christ. Okay? And everybody, you know, you look at what he did on the cross. When he was crucified, then resurrected 3 days later. He did all that for us. Okay? For this day that's coming now at hand. That's why he did all this. And that's why, you know what? It says if you don't love him first, you're not worthy of him. You know, you stop and look at what he did when he went to that cross. And let me ask you something. Who ever went to any length, anything that you could even imagine, anything remotely close to that? Nobody. Nobody did. Who would do something like that? Remotely like that for us? Do you know anybody that would go and die for you? I don't. Only the Lord, Jesus Christ, my Lord and my Savior. Stop and think about it, really. Just how much we should love him with a love that we can't, just unbelievable kind of love, you know? I seek only to do his will. That's it. His will alone. That's it. Nothing else. It's going to be a beautiful thing. This time's at hand. I can't wait, you know. We don't have much longer. Not much longer at all. Time's at hand. You know, look at everything, you know. It's very gray looking, you know. I think it's at hand, you know. Something's going to be happening. As somebody on my site said, Elmer, he said when people make predictions of the year 2017 and like September of 2017, he's like, well, I'm hoping that it's going to be 9 months sooner than what they're predicting, which would put him at today. You know, he's ready to go now. That's how we should be looking for his coming right now, every day. That's what I do, every moment of every day. You know, only he knows that day and hour. And I've shared that photo where I said, you know, I took that photo in 1977 when I was 17. And in 5 more months, this May coming up, I'll be 57. Okay? And with that photo being in 77, that's 5777. But that doesn't necessarily mean, you know, what we think. Only the Lord knows the meaning behind everything. Everything. You know, but it's a sign. It's a for sure sign. Just like this photo's a sign. You know, we could see the angel blowing the trumpet. That's a sign. We see the white horse at the end of it. Another sign. You know, I mean, you think it's just a coincidence that angel blowing the trumpet is right at the end of that horse, and a bathtub just happens to be above it?